This is QTV Nightly News coming to you live from our studios on Kariba Avenue, and I am Jenna Bosonko. Thanks for joining us here at the main news headlines. The Gambia national football team, the Scorpions, held a recovery training session on Tuesday to prepare for their second Group C game against Guinea, scheduled for Friday. The Ministry of Finance and the European Union organized a policy dialogue engagement on Wednesday on the EU's budget support for the Gambia government's green recovery-focused development agenda. We'll look at how descendants of enslaved Africans have been using DNA testing to trace their roots to Africa and their drive to reunite and reintegrate in Africa. The West Africa Competitiveness Program, the Gambia convened its 6th Project Steering Committee meeting on Tuesday, spearheading discussions on strategic planning. In international news, at the resumption of the ongoing crimes against humanity trial of former Interior Minister Ousmane Sonko, 2 witnesses, a prison officer and a victim of April 14, 2016 protests, testified, accusing Sonko of complicity in torture and the murder of late Baba Job. Those were the main headlines, and now the news in detail. Do stay with us. Thank you for joining us. This is QTV News and I am Jenna Bosonko. The Gambia national football team, the Scorpions, held a recovery training session on Tuesday to prepare for their second Group C game against Guinea, scheduled for Friday. Momodu Kajaga is in Yamoussoukro and this is his report.
The Gambia players had some light recovery session in preparation for their second Group C game against Guinea this Friday. Following a 3-0 defeat to champion Senegal, Gambia will need a good result against Guinea to stay in the competition. Coach Tom Saintfiet comments on the Senegal game, saying that despite the quality of their opponents, his side had chances to score.
A lot of positive things. I saw a team who was fighting, who created the first good opportunity against Senegal to score with Alassane Mane. We were too easy, too passive in the defense by the 1-0. But after the 1-0, I think we came back in the game. We had a fantastic free kick from Moussa Barrow. We had some headers during the game from Ali Sowe, from Badamosi later on, and also from Omar Colley. We had chances to score that equalizer, but the red card naturally was crucial. I mean, if just before halftime.
The Gambia team was reduced to 10 men when already a goal down after Ibu Adams was sent off for a dangerous tackle following a VAR intervention. The player expressed his disappointment at receiving a red card at a critical point in the game.
First I just wanted to apologise. There was no malice into it. I had no intent to tackle the player. As you can see from my head direction, that I wasn't even looking at the player, and you can see straight away I apologise. There was no intent, no malice. It's funny enough, I just wanted to see the game out till half time so we can work on the second half tactic to try to get back in the game. Like, I'm probably no more disappointed than anyone else. I'm probably the most disappointed because I went in the change room. I was disappointed in myself.
Omar Colley, captain of the team, who missed a chance through a header, and Moussa Barrow, whose powerful shot was spilt by Senegal's keeper, Edouard Mendy, had their say.
It was a difficult night for us. Most of us, we couldn't sleep because, this was not the plan. Our plan was to try to win our first game. And moreover, this game was like a derby for us Gambians,
Yesterday the game, we lost, but we fight all the way to the end. So as you can see today, the training, the spirit is high. We're looking forward to the next game, and hopefully we're going to be victorious, inshallah.
Bakary Badji, the Minister of Youth and Sports, and Lamin Kaba Bajo, President of the Gambia Football Federation, were at the team's recovery session and reflected on the Senegal game.
Well, alhamdulillah, we thank God for it. For me, it's a blessing that all these successes is happening on our watch and on our time. Against Senegal, everybody knows it was a tough game. We are all hoping for good results, at least in the minimum, to secure a point against Senegal, but it didn't happen. But like I told some people earlier, we all know by standards, of course, yes, the hopes are there, but football also has standards.
The preparation from both sides very intense, and then it was a derby that we all remember. Unfortunately, it didn't go away. They were a better side yesterday.
The Gambia currently sit bottom of Group C after the loss to Senegal. Guinea and Cameroon have a point each after sharing the points in their encounter. Mamoudou Gajaga, QTV News, Yamoussoukro, Côte d'Ivoire.
Now, good luck to the Scorpions ahead of their game with Guinea on Friday. The Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs and the European Union organized a policy dialogue engagement on Wednesday on the EU's budget support for the Gambia government's green recovery-focused development agenda. Lolly M. Camara has the rest of that.
The first ever policy dialogue engagement between the government of the Gambia and the European Union was held at the Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara International Conference Center in Bijilo. Attendees included cabinet ministers, senior government officials, the EU delegation headed by its ambassador and development partners. The EU's ambassador to the Gambia, Corrado Pampaloni, points out that the main objectives of the dialogue include, among other things, accessing the progress ahead of the next disbursement. This will access both the general conditions, such as the implementation of the National Development Plan, and reaching agreement on a policy dialogue values to guide their engagement and collaboration throughout the duration of the program. Mr. Pampaloni went on to say that the partnership between the European Union and the Gambia government has grown.
Have signed 4 successive state and resilience building contracts totaling 168 million euros. Of this maximum amount, almost 127 million was actually disbursed. Direct payments to the Gambian budget were equivalent to around 13% of all tax revenues in the Gambia over this period.
Despite these remarkable achievements made by the European Union, Ambassador Pampaloni raised concerns over the government's decision to exclude his union from key forums related to migration.
This topic is crucial for the European Union, and the lack of dialogue may undermine not only this budget support, but more generally, the future of our partnership. A successful budget support operation requires not only an effective policy dialogue, but also substantial commitment and efforts.
Sidi Keita, Gambia's Minister of Finance, states that the budget support program is aimed at supporting the Gambian government towards realizing a common strategic vision of the Green Recovery National Development Plan.
The partnership and the budget support program is anchored on strategic pillars or general conditions, which are the public policy, macroeconomic stability, public financial management, and budget transparency and oversight. This budget support are general to all, conditions are general to all disbursements, and they anchor on our policy objective of reform.
Minister Keita, while stating the expected outcomes of the meeting, also responded to some of the concerns raised by the EU's ambassador.
At the outcome of this meeting, a mechanism of review, which can be done on a monthly basis so that we compare notes and we have a frank and professional dialogue. The areas of concern for the budget, operations at the port, which is going through a public-private partnership, is noted, and the government of the Gambia has sent clarity in this direction.
The European Union's €40 million budget support to the Gambia, announced in November 2023, is expected to increase economic diversification, boost production, and improve infrastructure. For QTV News, Lolly M. Camara.
Across America, Europe and other parts of the world, descendants of enslaved Africans have been using DNA testing to trace their roots to African countries. As many discover the origins, there is a wave of homecoming by African diaspora to reunite and reintegrate for Africa's socio-economic prosperity. Mamoudou Lamin Choi's report highlights opportunities for the Gambia for returning African diasporans.
One of the most distressing legacies of the transatlantic slave trade is the lost identity of descendants of enslaved Africans. Over the course of 400 years of transatlantic slavery, most African slaves were stripped of their identity and their history erased. Now, their descendants are using science and technology to fix the puzzle on the mystery of their heritage. Genetics companies in Europe and America are the go-to destination for the African descendants wishing to trace their heritage. The DNA testing process starts with a swab of saliva, which is then posted to a testing company. Millions of people use companies such as Ancestry DNA, 23andMe, Family Tree DNA, and Helix to sequence their DNA, discover their roots, or find common genetic patterns in a geographic location. Results have shocked and in some cases delighted many and inspired a Back to Africa movement. Speaking at a symposium on the sidelines of the bicentenary anniversary of Janjanbureh, a former slave settlement in the Gambia, Patricia Scotland, the Secretary General of the Commonwealth of Nations, shocks the audience with this announcement.
And I'm very pleased, in a way, to be representing those who left these shores and were not allowed to come back. So how do I know that I am Gambian? It's because I had a DNA test. And according to my DNA, I come from the Gambia.
Born in Dominica in the Caribbean, where 40% of the enslaved African were shipped, Patricia Scotland is the 6th Secretary General of the Commonwealth and the first woman to occupy that post. She has a strong sense of identity and attachment to Africa and sees her visit to the Gambia as a homecoming. Patricia Scotland is among many African descendants, some of whom are high-profile figures whose DNA results trace their origins to African countries. One of them is Samuel L. Jackson, actor and producer, who traced his roots back to the Benga people in Gabon after taking a DNA test as part of a U.S. documentary series, Finding Your Roots. Gabon's then President Ali Ben Bongo hosted Jackson and issued him a passport, effectively making him a Gabonese citizen. Amid such developments and a wave of returning descendants of Africa back to their ancestral homes, what should be our national response? Hassam Cisse, a leading Gambian historian, has this answer.
So I think a very good start is for us to give them citizen rights. Number two, to encourage them to embed within our society, okay? To learn our languages, imbibe our cultures, go into our education system. Number three, to encourage them to invest. Some of them, have the means to invest, create jobs, and create opportunities for our youth. Because, these people are a hidden potential, for the Gambia in particular and for Africa in general.
One of the countries on the continent to embrace the homecoming of the African diaspora is Ghana, which in 2019 held a ceremony granting nationality to 126 African Americans and Afro-Caribbeans as part of the country's year of return, marking 400 years since the arrival of the first enslaved Africans in North America in 1619. A ship with 20 captives landed at Point Comfort in Virginia, ushering in the era of American slavery. Mohamed Lamin Choi, QTV News.
Interesting revelations there from that story by Mohamed Lamin Choi. We'll now go for a short commercial break, and when we come back, we have local and international news. Do stay with us.
For all your electronic cooking utensil needs, worry no more. Deka Killer Jongoma Kitchen is the solution. Deka Killer brings modern, efficient and affordable cooking materials such as gas cookers, heaters, coffee machines, fridges, ceiling and stand fans, among other valuable home and restaurant materials. Located at Serekunda Bambo opposite Sanchapa Garas, Deka Killer is making fun life easier by offering you guaranteed and cost-effective electronic cooking materials. You can contact us on 348-2307 or 728-5372. We are also on Facebook, Deka Killer The Gambia. Email dekakillergambia@gmail.com. Deka Killer Jongoma Kitchen is the solution for all your home appliances and electronic cooking utensil needs. Roast now, Deka Killer making fun life easier. Deka Killer, everything for cooking. Deka Killer is the right place to be.
Looking for the perfect place to promote your product or place your advert? Look no further than QTV. We are the premier destination for businesses looking to connect with Gambian audiences and beyond. At QTV, we offer a variety of advertising solutions to suit your needs and budget. With our diverse range of programming, you can be sure that your ad will reach a broad and engaged audience. From our popular news broadcast to our exciting music and entertainment programming, QTV has something for everyone. QTV, the premier destination for advertising in the Gambia. Contact us today and let us help you reach your audience.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I am Jenna Basonko. Now, the West Africa Competitiveness Program, the Gambia, convened its 6th Project Steering Committee meeting on Tuesday, spearheading discussions and strategic planning. Lena Igwenyiba has the rest of that.
With funding from the European Union, the WACOMF GM is implemented by the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, to elevate the Gambia's competitiveness along the onion value chain. The program seeks to boost performance, foster growth, and enhance contributions to industry, regional trade, and exports in the onion and horticulture value chain. Christian Lasser, Project Associate of UNIDO WACOMF GM, emphasizes the program's goal of positioning the Gambia as a key player in the industry.
The Gambia, unfortunately, has not yet fully benefited from all these opportunities out there due to missing know-how and digital infrastructure. Therefore, strong international partnerships and governance structures are needed to enable countries such as the Gambia to fully benefit from trade opportunities by being able to conform with standards and technical regulations and to maximize MSME export potential. In light of the need for quality standards in the Gambia in order to compete on the international and on the regional market, UNIDO's interventions through the West Africa Competitiveness Program, the WACOMP, have been systematically supporting the overall business environment in the country through improved quality infrastructure with a focus on the onion value chain and allied products.
Hayes Lumana Kamashi, the European Union representative.
With the start of trading under the African Continental Free Trade Area, the outcomes of the project will support the Gambia to better access the regional and international markets, reduce poverty, and create jobs for young people and women. This being the last year of implementation of the project, it is my wish and hope that today's deliberations will also critically examine the overall progress made, provide guidance and practical advice on the next and final step to ensure the project's successful closure.
Fatou Jame Toure, Deputy Permanent Secretary of Projects and Programs at the Ministry of Agriculture, expresses the Ministry's enthusiasm for the WACOMF GM project, adding that it significantly uplifts the Gambia's onion market, aligning with the government's food self-sufficiency initiative.
UNIDO WACOMF project has also complemented the efforts of this ministry in its effort in value addition initiative. In the horticulture sector, especially products like onions, and also access to market, because we can fully remember with the Sea Trade Initiative, WACOM had a very wonderful role, which paved the way for the strategies for onion marketing in this country. And the Ministry of Agriculture is really honored in having such a collaboration, and is building on that efforts to make sure onion marketing becomes easy for the farmers through the marketing federation. And this project paved that way, that we are building on to make life easy for our farmers.
The implementing agencies of WACOMF in the Gambia presented their progress report spanning mid-June to the end of December 2023, and the work plan for January to July 2024. These were closely reviewed and approved by the committee members. Reporting for QTV News, I am Lena Igwenyiba.
The Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Demba Sabali, on Tuesday presided over the handing over of 7 new vehicles procured by the Gambia Inclusive and Resilient Agricultural Value Chain Development Project to implementing partners. Loli M. Camara has the rest of that.
The vehicles by Giraffe Project under the Ministry of Agriculture with support from the World Bank is to enhance monitoring and project implementation. The project, according to officials, is focusing on small, medium and agribusinesses across the Gambia. Abdoulaye Toure, the project coordinator for Giraffe CPCU, highlighted some of the project's interventions.
We have procured and distributed big metric tons of maize and rice to our farmers. These are certified rice varieties and maize, high yielding. We are in the process of collecting data right now. I can't forecast the yield per hectare, but I mean, if from the interaction with the farmers that have planted this seed, rice and maize, they are expecting high yield. Of course, there are a little bit of challenges, and you know the government is into infrastructure, particularly the rural area roads. The project is also investing, about $8–10 million into rural infrastructure roads.
The Giraffe project is expected to contribute to improve connectivity and market access, increase sales and competitiveness, increase productivity and resilience to climate change. Demba Sabali, the Minister of Agriculture, pointed out that the event underscores his ministry's drive to support the beneficiary institutions in transforming the agriculture sector, from subsistence grain-fed agriculture to commercial, private-led mechanized agriculture, through which food and nutrition sovereignty can be realized.
Our policy document, GNIP 2, this will contribute towards achieving the sector objective and also the goals, as well as the new recovery-focused National Development Plan. Mr. Chairman, reaching a decision for 7 beneficiaries out of 18 was a very difficult one, considering Giraffe is currently working with 18 very committed IPs. But I want to assure those not benefiting from today's gesture to please understand our plight. The project is committed to supporting all our implementing partners in one form or another.
Dr. Demba Jallo, the Director General of the National Research Agriculture Institute, NARI, spoke on behalf of the beneficiaries.
You have to put everybody on board, every sector. The people, the environment, the climate, the resources, the institutions. And Giraffe is putting the institution forward. So on behalf of all the recipients, I am very, very happy to thank the project and of course the World Bank that is also behind it for this magnanimous gesture. This will go a long way, as the PS put it, in helping us facilitate some of our movements. We all know the movement constraints that we have in the institution. I think this is a step in the right direction towards also our national objective of attaining self-sufficiency.
The beneficiary institutions include soil and water management services under the Department of Agriculture, Horticulture Technical Services, Directorate of Urban Agriculture, National Road Authority, and the Gambia Import and Export Promotion Agency, GAIPA. For QTV News, Loli M. Camara.
From that story by Loli M. Camara, let's take a look at news beyond our borders. At the resumption of the ongoing crimes against humanity trial of former Interior Minister Ousmane Sonko, 2 witnesses, a prison officer and a victim of April 14, 2016 protests, testified, accusing Sonko of complicity in torture and the murder of late Baba Jobe. More in this report by Ansumane Sonyasi.
Ousmane Sonko, who is facing, among others, murder charges including the killing of former member of the National Assembly and close associate of ex-President Jammeh, Baba Jobe, who was murdered in 2011, allegedly under the directives of the former president. Sonko has since his arrest denied any complicity in the killing of Baba Jobe. However, testifying at his trial, a prison guard who was assistant to David Colley, former General Director of Prisons at Mile 2 Central Prison, told the court he was responsible for guarding prisoner Baba Jobe, who was reportedly hospitalized on 28 and 29 October 2011. The witness told federal prosecutors that upon orders, he granted a group of junglers access to Baba Jobe's hospital room so that they could kill him. The witness also provided important information about the prison authorities who at the time were directly under the hierarchy of the accused. He also alleged that inmates were picked up in the Mile 2 prison, mostly by junglers, and taken to NIA to be tortured. The court also heard how the former prison boss provided day-to-day reports to Usman Sonko every morning over the phone. And while he could not confirm that the instructions to kill Baba Jobe came directly from Usman Sonko, he maintained that the Minister of Interior had to be aware for any actions or decisions taken by Colley. Another witness who appeared before the court said he had joined a peaceful protest calling for electoral reform in April 2016, led by late Solo Sandeng. He testified that following his arrest, he was beaten with sticks by the police intervention unit and brought to the unit's headquarters. There, security forces, leaders, and members of the notorious National Intelligence Agency were present. Afterwards, Usman Sonko and the former IGP ordered to take him and other plaintiffs to the NIA headquarters. The arrestees were photographed, handcuffed, and subjected to severe torture upon arrival at the NIA. The witness claimed Sonko was part of a panel that investigated them and occasionally asked the junglers to torture them for refusing to cooperate with them. Meanwhile, Sonko had contested all the allegations of torture and murder levied against him by several witnesses since the commencement of his trial in Switzerland earlier this month. Answane Nyasi for QTV News.
From that update, that is all we have for you in this edition of QTV News. Join us at 10 p.m. for another bulletin, and do not forget to join us at 9 p.m. for an interesting episode of Youth Dialogue. Thanks for staying with us.